Okay, we got Excal in the bottom left with Ragey, both going Spectres. Then we have a CanCan with the Zerglings, very interesting, and LordMarshall with the Marauders. Then we have a Zealots coming out of Kontz with Efe Spectres, so Zerglings and Spectres this game, that's very interesting. And Marauders, more Marauders coming out of Sea Lord and Underthings in the bottom right corner. So, let's see if anybody has spent anything. Yes, one person has spent something, and that would be Sea Lord, I think, going for the concussive shells already. Yeah, concussive shells, so he's got stim on his Marauders, able to stim his Marines and Marauders, getting that extra 33% DPS on this army for that early game advantage. Will be able to feed off of Efe here a bit. Yeah. We've got about 20 bounty ahead of him, but Efe's still holding on to that onto his initial minerals, so he will be able to buy elites. Whereas Sea Lord, only now making the 250 that he started with, will he'll find it slightly harder to be able to afford the early game elites. That's not to say this is a mistake, because even with the early investment in the Marauders, for example, he could buy 2 sentries, that's only 300 minerals, which he pretty much already has. Or he could buy 4 Reapers, just getting a bit 100 more in a minute. It's very easy for him, especially with the slow, able to trap and pick off units slowly, even if nobody wants to engage with you. So he can go double sentry or go for Reapers with this build. I mean, he can even go like 1 Raven or 1 BC or like something, or maybe even like 2 Corrupt or something, but it's a lot less safe, and if you go 1 Raven, you're not going to be able to farm nearly as well. It's better to be able to get both Ravens and just like come in at the right time and cripple entire army, rather than just throw 1 Seeker and then they know and they can prepare for it, and then you're unlikely to get that delicious moment again. Yeah, I mean, Ravens are really nice to surprise people with, because if you can get 40 units with 1 Seeker, then obviously you're in a good spot. Very interesting Kontz engagement here against LordMarshall. He's run his Zealots up there onto the ledge. That 1 Raven coming out of RageyPoo. Haven't seen him go Ravens yet, so interesting to see how he'll play that. He threw the turret forward there. I'd actually suggest that you save the energy for Seekers, unless it's putting up a turret like on the tower to take it, or to just sit there and complete your concave. Because of course, if you've got 4 turrets shooting here for the duration of their expiration time, then they become cost effective. Otherwise, I think just having your Seeker earlier and having more Seekers is worth it, because turrets do cost energy. They cost 10 energy, and it's 150 energy for a Seeker. So 15 turrets, and that's a Seeker basically. And I don't know, you have to basically work it out. You could get up to 40 units with a Seeker. Will you be able to get 40 units with 15 turrets? How effective are your turrets being? If they're just thrown down and immediately die, yes, they do tank a little bit, but not very much, because they don't actually start off with a lot of HP. They scale very well. But if they die immediately, generally speaking, I don't think that it works out as being worth the 1/15th of a Seeker that you get. Because a Seeker can be huge. Obviously, a Seeker can be terrible. You can only kill a few things with it. So you need to try and work it out and play by ear. So yeah, obviously 2BC coming out of CanCan with Lings, very interesting, going to be very susceptible to medevac drops of Goliaths, of Phantoms, of any 6-range unit actually, because he will be on 4.5 range on these Marines for a long time. So defending his BC will be difficult. However, he has realized that he has this Kontz on the side, and Kontz will also not be prepared to deal with these BCs the way it is. He can get Vikings, he can get a Ghost. Who is that now with the Ghost there? Somebody went Infestor, so... Is that Excal? Yeah, Excal with the Infestor, and somebody's trying to counter him with the Ghost, but who is it? It's this team over here, Underthings. Underthongs. Oh, and very good choice against Ravens as well. So Ghost coming out against the Raven Fester. combination will be able to counter bottom left, at least their investments, for quite some time. Good choice coming out there. No reaction from Kontz against CanCan's BC. I'm unsure whether that's because he expects Efe to deal with them, because Efe's very good at dealing with range elites like that with his crawlers, which I haven't even bothered to say because this is almost guaranteed from Efe now, to go open roach and then go straight into crawlers. No elites or anything. He just gets them and then starts playing with them. The faster the better, and he'll try and take those BC. He'll try pop up on the investor. He might even try and pop up on the ghost. He does lots of things that I would never dream of doing, like try and jump up and snipe a ghost out of my army, but like straight on, like head on. Like I'll see him coming and I'll scan and he'll still come at me, and I'll move my ghost back and he'll try and get it in nevertheless. I'm not sure. He's a very aggressive player with his crawlers. He's not shy at all. So here comes Excal with a very cheeky infesta. I think he actually wanted to leech that ghost because oh my gosh, I think Under Things is lagging there because that wasn't even close. That was about 5 seconds late. The Festa was there, but then it was at the bottom of the ramp when those EMPs happened. So I think Under Things is lagging a little bit because those EMPs were not even close to being bad. They were not even close to being called bad. Those are just random EMPs at that point. So 10 minutes mark, Efe will be getting his crawlers. Already bought the upgrade with 200 spare. He will be getting those glial reconstitution to get the burrow speed, which is really important. And then of course he'll get these organic carapace upgrades. But yeah, range 6 already, of course. Kontz rushing out 2 armor and marine damage, so just armored tank units at the front of armor, and then marines DPSing behind it. No health upgrades yet. CanCan now with the ghost and the BC. I like this very much about CanCan. He tends to play very confidently in the way he counters. So you know, he's got BC. He says, well, you've got a Festa. I'm unlikely to ever get that with the Yamamoto, so I'm just gonna call it, play it safe, and get the ghost out. I noticed CanCan's only gone for 2 BC. I don't think he ever made the 3rd one, and I don't think he ever lost one. Big play coming out here. Not sure where the EMPs were there from Canny, but definitely needs them. Also, oh, I see, he actually managed to leech, I think. Maybe. That BC is very low on energy, 3 energy. I think he managed to leech that with the BC, with the Festa. Here's that early game advantage from Efe. Going to be able to use that to farm pretty much anything, regardless of what they have. So Marauders, no problem. +2 Marauders over here with a radar tower, not quite a support tower yet. Oh, okay, good, okay. Under Things actually managed to kill Excal's Infestor there. He was very obnoxious, bringing nothing but his Infestor. No medevac or army to support it, to catch it after he gets the fungal off. I suppose he saw these EMPs and thought, well, this guy isn't ever going to EMP me, judging by what I saw here. But maybe that was lag. So now Excal desperately trying to get the money back for his Infesta, and walking into CanCan's BC. CanCan ending up with the 3rd BC, so perhaps he just said, okay, 2 BC, then the Ghost to counter the Festa, and then I'll go back to my BC play. +1 on his Merc damage, so if CanCan loses everything, all he has is Zerglings with +1. But these are difficult units to lose. BC are difficult to lose because they're quite tanky until the upgrades come out for everyone. The Ghost is also quite a tanky hero, and he cloaks as well. So generally speaking, CanCan shouldn't be losing too much of this. He might lose 1 or 2 BC over the course of the game to a crawler pop-up, but generally speaking, I don't think he will be losing them. Kontz, like I say, hasn't got anything to counter it. He's just going for a pure army build, hoping that he will be able to get the farm to get the quick upgrades and get that early advantage, which I think is a really bad idea, by the way. I don't think you should be doing that in a pre-made. I mean, he's hoping that bottom right team, because they're a weak team, will be able to, like right here, that should have been kiting If he just kited that with the Marauder slow, he would have been able to do quite a lot. Efe, not sure if he's seen this this ghost. Doesn't look like it, and Underthing's actually bringing his ghost through the crawlers back home. Yep, so you got very interesting pushing coming out here with RageyPoo and Excal. Again, Excal doing the obnoxious infester, playing just with it, running around. Because I guess the idea is to say, well, why would Excal have his fester just randomly over here? Yeah, unfortunate to move you. Oh, Canny, what are you doing? Yeah, Canny gonna lose that maybe. Seeker gonna try and come off? No, he could have actually Seekered that ghost, but it would have been risky. He could have lost 300 for a potential 200, so maybe wise in deciding not to do that. But 200 health only on that ghost. Ran it straight down to the army, and Excal realizing, because of course he's keeping his eyes peeled for things that look weird on the map, such as crawlers, because you know Efe could have crawlers here and pop up and kill his fester, and obviously the ghost is the biggest threat, and he's going to be looking out for that cloak all the time. So unwise, I think, to bring the ghost down by himself after Excal was here himself with the fester. Although I'm not sure CanCan actually knew that, so why would he think Excal was looking over here? He thought he'd just bring it around and then snipe or EMP something. So yeah, like this always happens. The crawler I just managed to click on has 10 kills and full health, right? 5 kills, 9 kills, 5 kills, 1 kill, and full health, which is the huge strength of crawlers. Early game there, just ridiculous in damage. So Efe with the lead right now, him and Underthings. Underthings very interestingly having a lead as well. So I mean, obviously he got the kill on Excal's Infester, so that was plus 250, and he's gone for Phantoms, which is an early game advantage as well. Not sure why he went Phantoms, because he should know that he will be up against these crawlers, even though he's on this side of his team and not on the Sea Lord side. These crawlers are going to be in his face as much as they want. I mean, not necessarily. Efe doesn't have to, but he could as much as he wants. I wonder if Efe has seen this. No. Oh, yeah, he's seen it, but very wonky scan. But Excal, I think, will realize, well, why is he scanning over here so strangely? It's a very weird scan to do, and either RageyPoo or Excal picking up that kill. RageyPoo also looking out for ghosts all the time, because he's got a ghost on either side, well, had until he killed that one. So running your ghost to the army like that, a bit dangerous. I'm wondering if Underthongs had a support tower. He did have a support tower, but he didn't have the recall, so he could have recalled his ghost out if he had about 30 more energy, maybe 50 at the time, but didn't wait for that. I mean, generally speaking, it's only a small amount of time, 30, 50 energy. It's only a matter of time. You just turn off the heal, which obviously drains energy, and then wait, so that if your ghost gets spotted by the big crawler mass, you can at least recall, and that 50 energy that you waited for, that would save your 200. So huge jump from Efe. Like I said, very confident player. All 3 BC. That's GG for CanCan. That's pretty brutal. Like I said, just straight under there, straight on. There wasn't a surprise attack from behind or anything. He just went straight in, blinked in, burrowed up, and killed 900 from the CanCan, which is very sad, of course. And oh no, but he's still got his ghost. So 900 down for Canny. Not the end of the world, like I said. I said it was GG. That's probably a bit over dramatic. Definitely not a GG. But for me, I'd be like, fuck this shit, I hate this game so much, crawlers are OP. That's what I'd be thinking right now. Definitely not a game though. This ghost perched up on the ledge there, hoping that Excal will be obnoxious with it again. Doesn't want to push any further, he knows that. He's here, not over here, because of this photon cannon. We'll be able to see, I think it will be able to see the top of this ramp right now. At least you wouldn't want to risk it. So hoping that maybe he'll come up with his Fester or Ravens over here to look for farm, and then obviously CanCan will EMP or snipe, whatever it needs to be. So, but Excal, knowing I think that they kill the ghost on the right side, is now opting to bring his Fester to the right side, because he's saying, well, if you're not going to rebuy your ghost, I'm going to abuse you in the meantime. But the ghost is coming out, and in 40 game seconds we will see a big fungal happening here. 17 times 8, that is about 150 minerals. Slightly under 150 minerals. And generally the game goes pretty much how every pre-made happens with Efe, where he rushes out crawlers and does really well with them, but almost guaranteed he will end up losing it anyway, because crawlers kind of suck in the late game. So it's kind of a really strange mechanic right now. LordMarshall though, not getting any farm. He's not going to get any farm for the pure fact that these crawlers are going to shut down anything. Kontz coming out with the temples, and the destroyers are there to counter the temples, so that's a good choice. And that's fine, but now it's going to be very difficult. The thing about crawlers is half of the elites fly, right? Half of the elites are there to farm whilst flying, but crawlers really punish that, because it only takes 10 crawlers to pop up and one-shot whatever it is that you have. If you think, let's check how much damage. He's got +6 on these crawlers, air and ground damage 40. So 10 crawlers popping up and hitting something, that's 400 damage. Most air elites don't have much armor at all, if any. So 10 crawlers popping up, 400 damage, that's enough to kill a Raven. That's half of an BC, so you actually need 20 crawlers to pop up and kill a BC for that 800 damage that you need. So maybe 21, 22 if you factor in armor. But that's not many. That's not many crawlers at all. If you think one row is 8, so that's 16. That's 19 units I've just highlighted there, and that's actually 20 that I've just highlighted. It's it sounds like a lot more than it is, and crawlers actually bunch up quite a bit. And if you look, Efe is burrowing the hurt ones at the front, and then reburrowing them at the end there. Pretty much Stalker Blink Micro, but with burrow. And Excal running his units into LordMarshall because he knows what it means. That was a Raven loss for RageyPoo. Like I say, very easy to punish air elites, even cross map. So RageyPoo just slightly out of position there. One pop up, and the attack of a crawler is a projectile, so it follows your whatever it is that you have. So if RageyPoo is here and the crawlers are 6 range away, they pop up and they shoot. RageyPoo moves away. He might be over here, and it'll still obviously follow and hit him. So oftentimes you think actually crawlers have way more range than it says they do. They have definitely more than 6 range, but actually it's just this weird slow projectile that comes out of them. That then, if you look at the green splurge that comes out of them, it follows them no matter how far you walk away. Obviously, I'm not sure. Is that Demonator? Hey Demonator in the chat there, just saw that. Yeah, Lord Canny and CanCan are 2 different people. Just letting everybody know. And big Seeker coming out from the RageyPoo. Not sure which upgrade he went there. Let's check. I don't think it. Yeah, it shot once and the timer didn't reset, so he went for countermeasures, which is by far, I think, quite clearly the stronger upgrade now, because turrets are nerfed heavily, and the energy bonus only comes with countermeasures now. If you guys are thinking what's countermeasures, it's the second upgrade on Ravens. It used to do extra damage, so the Seeker would be able to kill Muta and things a bit easier, but now it doesn't do extra damage. It does, I think, more splash, and also big obnoxious play again from Excal. Yeah, it does. Oh, but the big CanCan DPS not quite there. Only those 7 or 8 units were actually firing there. Yeah, so countermeasures used to do extra damage, now it just does more splash and gives you more energy. So complete rework of that, nothing like anybody's used to. Kontz actually managing to drop and kill LordMarshall's compound there with the temple drop, and actually coming in hoping that the compound will be remade, or at the very least being able to feed off of LordMarshall, who, although hard countering Kontz, doesn't have the bounty, and because quite a big, yeah, Jesus, that was a lot of crawlers that just died to that savior, my god. So he's actually up 1000 bounty after that. Yeah, so despite the fact that temples counter, hybrid destroyers counter the temples, because melee units are just very strong close up and being dropped onto him, so he's not getting a volley or two in before the zealots even arrive. And another savior coming out. This one definitely not going to be as strong as the first one. That was probably unnecessary. He'd rather have gotten tanks and sentry. Yeah. But yeah, because destroyers, even though they counter the temples, they're not actually going to do that well. The hardened shield is still there, and the distance is being closed in by the lack of vision. So he's not able to shoot, even though normally, of course, if there are units here, they'd be shot as they're coming in. So the medi's coming in and closing in the distance and dropping melee units on, which have better stats. So despite their countering mechanism, it's not working out for LordMarshall. Oh, another big savior. Everyone getting sick of these fucking crawlers outside of their base. Like, I don't need your 800 supply of crawlers outside my base all game. So Efe probably feeling a bit abused, a bit ganged up on, picked on, coming over here getting, I don't know how much supply that was. It must have been like 300 or 400 supply of crawlers. Killed by a savior, and coming over here says, well, they weren't very friendly. Killed by a savior. But I think Efe needs to understand that when you go crawlers, you lock everybody into their base. Like, if you look at the map right now, everyone is in their base because you cannot trade effectively with crawlers. So you don't want to move anywhere out on the map or even in your own ledges because crawlers will pop up and start trading effectively with you. So it's kind of a strategy that depends on your allies not being patient enough. And it is just a question of patience, because as time passes, as you get the 10-minute mark income, as you're getting trades of other people, all of a sudden crawlers are not as scary and not as powerful. So you see the pre-made players here, they know what's going on, they know what's strong at what times, and they're saying, well, if you're going to pick crawlers, we're going to hide in our bases, and especially with Kontz dropping the size as well. So Kontz adding to the problem of his team even more with dropping as well as the crawler pressure. So now nobody wants to leave their mercs or their base. Excal, of course, is cross, but needs to be careful. So he's ready with the recall. They were both ready with the recall. Quite a dodgy. I'm hoping RageyPoo knew that Excal could recall there, because if he'd lost his queen to a crawler mass because he'd recalled out, that would have been very, very bad, because it's 1,000 minerals in that queen. That's an insane amount of money. That's more than 3 BC in that queen. Interesting of Excal to actually do this and rush the queen. Ultimates are much cheaper here, so you'll see them much more often. And I think it's only the 1250 minerals to get your queen after you buy the infestor upgrades. But you're buying the infestor upgrades anyway because you want extra damage, extra range, extra crawlers. You're doing all that good stuff anyway. Very obnoxious play from Excal though. He doesn't have a medevac, and he's just expecting, he's thinking, okay, well, Kontz isn't gonna attack me, or there's not a Phoenix out, and nothing's already gonna do anything to me. But I would certainly be worried if I were Excal, because he cannot really do anything to these crawlers. They've got 390 health. Even if he chain fungals them, I don't actually think that he will be able to kill them, because their health regen is so good that fungal takes a lot of time to get all the damage out. Meanwhile, they're just healing up. So especially if they're borrowed, even if he chains 2 fungals on them, they're not going to die. I don't think a single one will die with 400 health. Max fungal damage is 360 roundabout, so in theory it should be 720 damage, and he'll be able to chain fungal them really easily. He wants to recall out here though. He's getting munched by on every side. That's almost a 360 degree. Oh my gosh, that ghost didn't bother EMPing got leeched and fungled and killed. Not the strongest ghost play here. Shouldn't be letting that queen do melee attacks. It's got 450 kills, so it's doing pretty well here. But yeah, shouldn't really be allowing him to get melee hits. Regular right-click hits with that queen, because he regenerates energy. She regenerates energy per shot though. Good of Sea Lord to get tanks and a Thor for defense, but Kontz still dropping Temple Marine. Temples, of course, don't really care too much about the tanks, so perhaps sentries would be better, because he drops and you can sentry out his like here right in front of the compound. You sentry out the temples, then pop a guardian shield. So that's like Kontz's entire strategy here is countered by sentries. So he's got +8 on them. A sentry with the force with the guardian shield upgrade takes off four of these upgrades basically. Yeah, so you pop the guardian shield and all of a sudden these are actually only just +4 marines shooting at you, which is a lot less scary, and you're not really that bothered, because +4 marines, you know, that's let's have a look. That's 4 less damage basically, so 10 damage per shot. And this compound has... oh, I can't check because they're all making units. I think they have 5 armor. CC only has 1 armor, but I'm pretty sure compounds have 5 armor. I would never actually be able to check until I play my own game, but I'm pretty sure they have 5 armor. So 10 damage marines with a guardian shield protecting the compound will be able to protect this compound from there. Because right now he may even go for the compound. No transfuse coming out, Kontz realizing there's no chance of getting that. I mean, this is getting squashed. The Thor is doing a lot of splash damage to the temple shields, which take extra damage from heroes, and the tanks are mopping up the marines. So this is getting squashed. But if he ever does get a problem with it, just 1 sentry for the guardian shield. You don't need 2, because Kontz is attacking in bursts, right? He's dropping all of his army at once, and then he's leaving for about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and he'll be back later. Meanwhile, your sentry's full on energy again. So you only need 1 sentry for defense. You don't even need 2. And perhaps you don't even need the upgrade. If you're getting really pressured, you can get the upgrade, but it's only 150. Guardian Shield protects you, 100% efficiency on that sentry, because it's never going to die, it's behind everything, and it's always going to be able to get a Guardian Shield off. And it's not like when Kontz drops, he's able to pick up very easily. If he drops and picks up when he sees the Guardian Shield, then he'll lose a lot of units in that process, because he'll have dropped into the Guardian Shield. All the units that drop will be fired at, and then he'll pick up again, and that'll take a little bit of time, and he will have fed you basically, if that's what he's doing. So it's a win-win situation. If somebody's dropping you hard with Marines, because Marines, it is just a really like basic strat, right? It's like, I'm gonna get tons and tons of damage on these Marines, the temples are gonna tank, and I'm hoping that I'll get the farm I need to be able to get all the Marine upgrades, and then have the best scaling unit on my team before anybody else. That's the idea. It's very simple, it's very basic, but there are also very basic counters to that, and sentries in particular are the best one. Now, I mean, it's not as popular, I think, as it should be. It should be really meta that every team has sentries on them. But I think because lag really kills them, like you're not able to put down your force fields, you're not able to put Guardian Shield up and actually be in the army. Like you've got a sentry like over here right now. Excal might have a sentry. So lag obviously really kills any unit that requires positioning and pinpoint accuracy with the spell, which obviously force fields do. Even if you mess up a little bit, you leave a gap in the force fields, and enemy units start trickling away where they should. RageyPoo of the multi-lock actually able to kill Kontz's medevac and wisely retreating to the concave. Excal though has been EMP'd, so he's unable to fungal just yet, but he will in a second after a few right clicks. So there's the fungal, and there's another fungal, and yeah, and then that forces down. But I imagine Kontz already has double spawn. Yeah, he already has double spawn. You can tell by the marine morph. It looks cooler. It has a little arm pads on it, and maybe a shield and a shoulder pad, and they're actually bigger as well, I feel like. But Kontz with his with his marine strat, has all the range and weapon speed upgrades, and now Kontz will be getting much stronger and stronger if he finds an opening to farm. But like I said, Efe and his strat actually don't work very well together, because Efe's already pushing everybody back into their base and defending with fat units like tanks and Thors to be able to pop open the crawlers, but those same units of splash obviously tear through marines, so this is not a good synergy right here. And now actually Efe saying everyone's hiding from me is actually going to go and do the exact same thing as Kontz, only in this weird way, right? Because if you look, he has got +7 on his merc now. He's got +7 zealots and +6 marines, whilst Kontz already has +8 marines. So Efe actually doing much better than Kontz in terms of upgrades somehow, even though he's just switched. Is Kontz saving? Oh no, of course, Efe doesn't have any upgrades on his marines yet. No, he has all of the upgrades on his marines. He doesn't have double spawn, but actually, this is interesting. I don't know why Efe is so much better in upgrades than Kontz is. I suppose he doesn't have as much health. Yeah, so maybe if you factor in health costs, it would actually end up the same. But it looks, at least from damage, he's got 13 damage upgrades, and Kontz has got 9, and most of those are in cheaper marine upgrades. So it looks a bit like Efe is doing better with less bounty. But actually, I think with 100 health against 130 health marines, maybe that's where the difference is. And yeah, okay, he's putting health on his temples as opposed to on his marines. Oh no, he's equal. Actually, I'll check it here. So he's missing about 3 upgrades, Efe is, and then he's got a ton of attack upgrades. I mean, that's interesting because it doesn't. Maybe the bounty board is slightly bugged. Like Excal was saying that perhaps there's a small bug with if you spend your money really quickly because of the delay on the bounty board, it's not coming in. So that's definitely worth investigating, because Efe right now looks like he has more money, even though I've just checked it, and it looks like Efe has better upgrades. And Kontz has only been playing pure medevac, right? So he hasn't lost so many medevacs as to explain the difference in upgrades. Yeah. But Excal with the Queen on 8k bounty, definitely not leading up there with Ragey there. Efe and Kontz are leading. CanCan really struggling. Like I say, that BC massacre was very, very painful for him. I mean, generally, he's been in a tough spot, that CanCan, because that obs needs to move, because you can see obs really easily and you can snipe them with ghosts out of the radius that they can see the ghost. So obs actually not a very good counter for ghosts if you're going to be keeping them still. Yeah, so CanCan and LordMarshall have had a very tough game because they've had crawlers on one side preventing them from farming that side, and then you've had this Excal with the Festa and then Fast Queen, making it very difficult. Like if you bring too much mass, that it's all just going to get fungled. And you can see here Excal with the obnoxious Queen play running out and fungling shit. Nobody quite wanting to get a Phoenix, and nobody defending their towers against this Queen. So he's got a lot of map vision. He's got these creep tumors out as well in case he loses the tower. He's got an obs there because the only thing that can kill his Queen right now would be this double ghost play from CanCan. So if he gets that, obviously this is dangerous here, because very dangerous. My goodness. Oh my god. Oh, what is he doing? Oh my gosh, that's insane. If CanCan had energy for an EMP there, then that would have been a big deal. My god. But luckily, actually, LordMarshall with Destroy is able to counter the Goliaths coming from RageyPoo. So, yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. Excal says that he spammed some HP there. Yeah, so he's actually on 400 on the upgrade hero health. So he was able, I think he spammed HP when he knew he was in big trouble there, and he was standing still for a second, and that's probably him spamming HP. Oh, bugs. And then one more right click from the ghost and he would have been dead. So those HP upgrades were game changing for him. Got some bugs apparently on the queen. Definitely need to look out for those. Double Thor. Thor only costing 2 gas here as opposed to a Ultra, but Thor and Colossi both just 2 gas, so it's easier to get that +4. That 4 gas to get double, whatever you want. So it heals faster when unburrowed, but it regenerates faster when it's burrowed. So that would be a fun mechanic to actually keep. That's too much mass. Like, all the units in the back weren't doing anything. He just needs to peel them off. Just peel off a few units, bring them back, let the Thors do their work. You can't really fungal Thors down. And actually, he can be pretty obnoxious with these Thors because nothing on the bottom left team is going to kill those Thors too easily. Like, even Goliaths don't really have the DPS to tear into a Thor. If the Goliaths get too close, you can just walk a Thor back, especially with this minus 35% incoming damage for 3 seconds. So if they start moving in with the Goliaths, like stutter stepping in or even medevacing in, you just pop this and then walk away. So I think a bit of obnoxious behavior from Sea Lord would be good. Really like aggressive Thor pushing, like taking this tower, because Excal can't fungal a Thor. They haven't got a ghost on the team, so actually Thors could be a very nice way of harassing this Excal. Like a big scan here, take out all the creep tumors, kill all these units of the Thors, and then back. Another big drop from Kontz. Like I say, sentries, tanks, really important for defense. Much better than losing your compound. Even one time, that's a lot of money. Let's just check. I think it's 550 now. More expensive than before. Yeah, 550 to rebuild his destroyer compound. So 550, that's already 3 tanks and, I mean, 600 basically for 2 tanks and 2 sentries. So you can get everything for the price of 1 compound. It might seem like a waste. You're just sitting your units there and you're like, okay, well, this is rubbish. They haven't done anything. I've wasted my money. But if you just save 1 compound, or rather, if you just think to yourself, I haven't lost a single compound all game. This is marvelous. Usually I lose 5. Then suddenly that 550 and those units AFK in your base are really starting to pay off. Because the reality is, Kontz is probably still going to try and drop you despite the sentry tank. Because that's just his personality, right? He'll just do it anyway. And then you'll get fed and you'll get ahead. Now, the huge push is coming in from top right teams. Kontz and Efe, like I say, both doing the exact same strategy. Huge savior. Look at all those numbers there. That's an insane amount of numbers coming out from the savior. And then the big rubbish push coming out from Excal, just giving those +4s. Like, now Kenny needs to go and get elites. I think he's getting, yeah. Oh gosh, look at this, Needs the EMP or something. No, he's too busy defending his base from the Efe attack, yeah. So loses everything. All I can say here is really bad timing for his tanks and sentries, and by that I mean there was no timing for the tanks and sentries. They never even got them. Maybe even if you don't like tanks and sentries and you think that's boring. Oh, I see. He was over here to buy saviors. Yeah, okay, I understand. I mean, even if you don't like tanks and sentries, an anti-air turret here is for me the best spot, because right here, it's very difficult to get that with anything from the ledge, and it will still kill any medevac that's flying in. Because if you fly in from here, this turret hits you more, and if you fly in from here, where that turret wouldn't be hitting you, you've got this nice square right here. Yeah. Excal's actually calling me now. Oh, I see. Okay then, if Kenny wants to obs this with me, he is more than welcome to, because he is also in the game observing right now. Let's just get him on there. But like I say, anti-air turret as well. If you're just dealing with medevacs, from the medevac player's perspective, you don't want to ever be dropping onto an anti-air turret because you will lose it every time. So if you fly over this ledge, the turret hits you 3 times, you drop everything and you fly back out. All you need is a scan, and the medevac is dead 100% of the time. So it's not worth it. If you're dropping everything, and even if you get the compound, it doesn't ever feel worth it to lose the medevac, because then you're spending 200, you might get 450 from the compound. It doesn't ever feel worth it. You'll rather go to the other side. Plus, once you've got some range attack upgrades on there, the medevac will fly over, and it'll be dead before, if you scan it as it's coming, it'll be dead before it even drops, and all the units will be stunned and wrecked. So I'm going to get CanCan onto Skype, and through the desktop audio we should actually be able to hear him. Yeah, Excal unhappy about the fact that he cannot upgrade the range on his fungal, which makes him a little bit less powerful against any team of a ghost in, because the EMP will be have a much higher range than any fungal that he can do. That was the medevac dying to the double Thor, Efe flying over, Sea Lord saying I don't give a shit, scans or just keeps a unit up here, and actually able to 2-shot, I think, the medevac. Big drop coming in from RageyPoo, meanwhile a big attack coming in from the front from Kontz, able to mop up and feed on everything that's coming from the front, but under things who actually doesn't have anything other than this ghost really. Didn't get the EMP off either. Unable to deal with Marauders, which hard counter his units, so not a particularly strong defense. Again, no tank sentry, no anti-air turret to defend drops, so like even though they've invested into this medevac, you haven't invested anything to deal with it. Just the ghost. Not particularly strong counterplay, not particularly strong defense at all. Needs to work on that as well. And I will ring CanCan now. So now it's sudden death, and Excal is looking to be in a very good position because there's nothing really on the map to deal with his queen. The Dark Archon's there, but until the Phoenix comes out, Excal's going to be able to land monstrous fungals onto the army. And of course, in terms of DPS, CanCan doesn't look like he's going to pick up, so I'm going to have to stop ringing him there. Yeah, because of the immense DPS from the fungals, Excal's in the better position here, of course, because the Queen has much more DPS than a DA, which has to rely on right-clicking and taking damage. So Excal in a good spot will be able to take mid with RageyPoo. If you look at the bounties, 15k, 15k, and then 18, 16. So Efe and Kontz actually ahead in terms of raw bounty, but like I say, the Queen is going to make a big difference here. A ghost coming out for Efe will be able to EMP and mitigate some of the fungals, which is what they need to be doing right now, because of course you can take away almost 100% of the DPS and effectiveness of this Queen with an EMP. But actually we're going for a oh my gosh, yeah, so we're going for a nuke instead of an EMP. Not really what you needed to be doing. I think you could have landed an EMP there and that would have been a lot bigger, because of course the EMP prevents energy regeneration for about 10 seconds afterwards, as well as draining all of its energy. So it really reduces the investment that Excal's poured into this Queen. Just one EMP from a 400 mineral unit. So just spamming EMP is the best thing you can do against somebody that's done what he has. Excal actually kept on leeching this Dark Archon, which has quite fast energy regen and needs energy to do the Void Prism, which for some reason is called Maelstrom here, but everybody knows it's Void Prism. So generally speaking, they just need to EMP this queen if they want to deal with it. Meanwhile, I would say RageyPoo needs a Phoenix to pick up the Dark Archon after it's been fungled and then drop Goliaths on it. Similarly, Kontz's team wants to be... Kontz's team wants to be getting a Phoenix from Efe or Kontz, but obviously the gas is more suggesting Efe. So getting that Phoenix to Void Prism the Queen, blink, Void Prism, Phoenix pick up, and then dropping Marines. Of course, they don't have Goliaths on their team, which is a disadvantage in the situation of Graviton beaming and killing whatever it is, but that doesn't mean that they can't blink in and Void Prism Excal, who's very aggressive. He'll run his queen out in front of his army. If you blink in Void Prism, then get the Phoenix to come in, pick up with the Graviton beam, then drop the units, and then kill it. Likewise, they have the exact same situation, but instead of Void Prism, they have a Queen Fungal on the Archon with the Phoenix coming out. So Phoenix did come out. Interesting to see who, and very good. Almost like RageyPoo is listening to me as I speak. RageyPoo gets the Phoenix out and is ready to Graviton Beam the Dark Archon, but he needs, of course, some Goliaths in that medevac in order to make this work. So big VP coming out, and Excal's just... oh my gosh. Excal, pure and simple, throwing his queen in front of his army, and Kontz saying, well, well, I'm just going to Void Prism that and then kill you. Kontz doing this weird thing that he does, which I'm yet to understand, of buying gas in order to then make a bunch of HKs. I mean, yes, you can upgrade the HKs with your hero attack and health and armor upgrades, so the HK benefit from a lot of the stuff that your Dark Archon benefits from. The DPS from that unit is very good, but what I don't understand is, given that you have units... yeah, Excel's saying that he lost due to lack of range and because he couldn't buy it, which is somewhat true really, because you saw he was kind of out of position here trying to fungal stuff. If he had higher range, obviously he wouldn't need to be out as far forward all the time. So there's definitely that to consider. It's not just Excal being bad, it's Excal being bad and him being forced to throw his queen further over. It is over as long as nobody makes huge mistakes, but you'd have to be pretty stupid to make any huge mistakes like that. So generally speaking, yeah, I think the game is over. Oh, that's interesting. Actual Void Prism and the blink still came off, and they were Void Prisms after they blinked out. Yeah. But I mean, Kontz could be terrible and throw his yeah, but then it's like they get Void Prismed and then they blink out and they're still Void Prismed, okay. Or they blink at the same time as being Void Prismed, and then so they're able to blink and then also able to carry the Void Prism debuff. I don't know. Big nuke coming out, killing the backbone of Marines of RageyPoo, who has odd Marines, 3 armor on his Marines. But not too significant to lose Marines for him, because that's not where the majority of his upgrades and strength lies. But he's got the Queen back, big EMP, actually managing to kill both the... oh, nice play from Excal. Oh, very nice play from Excal. Able to kill the Ghost and tanks and a HK there with the Oracles. Like I say, everything that counters Dark Archons also counters the HK. Very odd positioned nuke coming out with the Ghost at the front, uncloaked, trying to nuke everything in front of him. Immediately got taken down. But those Oracles really did a lot of work there for Excal. Taking out everything except for the Dark Archon and 1 HK out of Kontz. And Kontz resigned to sitting in base and waiting for his HK to come back out again. Again, I don't really understand the point of the HKI. Again, I know I keep saying it, but like sentries and corruptors in this situation would be a million times more useful than more heroes that get countered by the same stuff. Like he had corruptors to deal with these oracles and also corrupt everything with guardian shields on top of the 50% fucking damage reduction and shields and 12,000 health. Then all of a sudden his army is much stronger. But the extra HK as well, more DPS, more heroes that get countered by the same stuff. I don't really understand. Especially like EMPs now will be able to do a significant amount of damage against the HK and the shields of the Dark Archons. So just throwing EMPs against this over and over again all of a sudden becomes very, very strong. And then of course oracles kill HK from quite a distance and quite easily, and fungals will be able to fungal all the HK, all the Archons and stuff. So I don't know, very odd choice, not necessarily terrible because like I said they still do extra damage and they still add something for the enemy to think about. But I think perhaps the main reason Kontz does it is because if you pick up the Archon with a Phoenix, you still got 3 HK munching everything around it. So even if you don't micro it, the HK will kill the Phoenix, lifting the Dark Archon. So the HK are kind of there as a buffer. Say, well, you're never going to be able to lift just my Archon, and then have me dangling there because I'm going to have these 3 monsters hang around. So it's kind of like extra lifelines, I think, against the Phoenix. But you still need to be worried about EMPs and fungals and all that good stuff. No Phoenix out from top right either. Very big mistake because you're never going to be able to kill this queen unless Excal does a big mistake again. Big VP coming out again. Oh, big, very nice graviton beam. Like I say, here are the HK as a lifeline, able to take out that queen. Able to take out that Phoenix quite quickly. But all the HK are dead now for a trade of the 3 oracles. Not as big of a deal for... not quite as big of a deal for Excal, who can just rebuy the oracles. Reggie needs to take that mid because he doesn't actually hold it right now. He's missing out. He just missed out on the payment. And actually... Excal lost his queen again. I didn't actually even notice. It was just VP'd in there. I figured he'd walk it out, but managed to lose that again. I mean, they're broken in 2 very different ways, but the Dark Archon definitely has no balance to it. I mean, just look how many units he's just Void Prism there for so long. It's pretty ridiculous, and it's not like the Void Prism takes long to do again. It's like 20, 25 or 30 seconds. Yeah, no, I think everyone's under the understanding that the Dark Archon is OP at this point. I think everybody realizes that. It's got 24,000 effective health right now, so how are you going to kill it? But very interesting, Sea Lord actually managing to take mid during this because they kind of tire each other out. Kontz against Excal. Excal kills all of Kontz's HK, who's now in base waiting for them to come back, and of course Excal losing his. Excal losing his. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but little blue numbers come out of the PF there, suggesting that the numbers, I think that's what happens when you get a refund. Big attack with the queen coming out of Excal, getting monstrous fungals off, killing most of the supply. Efe coming in to try and take these Thors, but a quick recall fixed that for bottom right's team. As per usual, Excal waiting for the big drop. Kontz has a PF, so unlikely that he's going to lose that, but he will at least lose this compound and anti-air turret. Efe running back now for defense. But yeah, here comes Excal with a monstrous drop. Anti-air turret kills it before it lands. Of course, there's some units around here. It gets mopped up. Might be able to take this compound first. Oh, very close. 294 health. But in the meantime, Kontz attacked bottom right team, unable to actually finish them, and worried for his compound's safety, returns with his Dark Archons. So actually very bad of Kontz. Excuse me. Very bad of Kontz actually to attack bottom right team without knowing that he could finish them, because now he is in a very bad spot. He has got very small supply. Good anti-air turret immediately coming out of Kontz, meaning that you know, see that the anti-air turret's immediately going to take that Phoenix out. Good disable, I mean cancel from Ragey, who, oh gosh, another queen down. Yeah, another queen down for Excal. Not sure if Excal needed to go for the jugular there. He probably should have just stayed mid a little bit. Excal deciding he's had enough of this buggy queen. Well, guys, the game is in development. Yeah, oh, he's got 200 health Marines and only +7. I mean, the game is still in development, so like there will be bugs, so they will ruin everybody's games. There's no need to take it too personally, I think. So I think it's fine. Everything's fine. Dark Archon also, Kontz just needs to stop playing this piece of shit because it has no balance compared to everything else. Like, I'm not sure if there's been a game where anyone had a Dark Archon and lost. Like, it's a 100% win rate unit, so I feel like this just needs to stop. Like, yes, Kontz would have lost if he hadn't gone Dark Archon, we know that, but like, if everybody's going to be playing just for the win, then we're going to be just seeing the same like 3 units every time. It's not particularly good. So I think we should just leave at this point. I think the game's pretty much over. A pretty solid game for everyone. I think the only big disaster was CanCan losing all of his BC at once to Efe. I mean, you know, you kind of have to expect that's what Efe does. He does this every game. He goes crawlers and he picks off everybody's investments at the 20-minute window. It's a very long window that crawlers are very powerful. So it feels often you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ, these bugs are retarded. Like, how fucking OP can you get? So it feels like they're OP, but they're definitely not OP late game. They're definitely just very, very strong, perhaps OP at early game. So that's what Efe does, and he did it to CanCan. CanCan lost all his BC. I guess it's kind of difficult because you think, oh, well, I've got BC, I'm not going to lose them to some stupid crawlers, but it's actually 20 crawlers, 1 volley, your BC are dead. That's a lot of money that you lose. Big Thor play. I think that one's been sniped. Yeah, look at that health. Not very good health. Could get EMP'd. That ghost does have energy. Or you could just do the 10-minute Void Prism against all the army and just right-click everything. But, I mean, you can generally, I guess, see Kontz is able to kill almost everything with a Void Prism and then the HK, because the HK DPS is insane. I mean, obviously so is the Dark Archon. Look at that, 640 damage DPS, effectively. 600 damage DPS. And then you've got these things with 350 DPS. So he could just Void Prism a huge massive army and then have his Archon and 4 HK or 3 HK munch and everything. That's pretty strong, but still countered by exactly the same stuff. Can get his HK EMP to death. Not particularly a strong strat. It's more of a troll strat. I would definitely consider that to be. But looking at the bounty, yeah, guy with the DA leading. Efe second, guy allied to the guy with the DA second, the guys furthest away from the DA second in bounty, and then everybody to the either side. I mean, it's kind of a really fucking monstrous strategy because, like I say, crawlers are very, very strong for the first 30 minutes to 50 minutes of the game, depending on how fast the feeding is. And then Dark Archon is just ridiculously OP late game. So it went from one guy doing early game and the other guy doing to extremely late game, and then that was it. But I mean, okay, it was a good game. I liked it. It was an enjoyable game to watch. A lot of common themes: Efe going crawlers, and CanCan crying. Some bugs needs to deal with that. But other than that, good game, guys.